Hey, Run, Try, Bike community. Welcome to our Fiery Embers show. This is not a show for you to learn how to get fitter, faster, or stronger. But if that happens, I apologize in advance. This is a show about cracking jokes, having fun, putting smiles on people's faces, because endurance sports are hard and we need to have a break from them every now and again. Today, I'm going to be joined by Kelsey Myers, who is the founder of Tortis Sportswear and is also the first woman to complete 6 triathlons on 6 continents in 6 days. And if I tried to say that any faster, who knows how it would come out. So let's not wait any longer. Let's bring Kelsey to the show and let's have some fun. Hey, Kelsey, how are you?
Hey, Jason, I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic now that I get to chat with you for the next 20 or 30 minutes.
I'm excited for this.
Awesome. So for those of you who are listening or watching, Kelsey and I have chatted previously. We did a story on her that'll be on the Run Try Mag website here real soon. Today is November 26th, in case you're listening to this sometime into the future. So check out her story about Tortis Sportswear and why she founded the business and what she's trying to do to help women in endurance sports. But today we're going to get to lean in a little bit more into her personality and find out more about her so that when you go shop at her site, you know who the owner is. So 6 triathlons on 6 continents in 6 days. What were the 6 countries you went to?
So the first country I went to was Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, to Lisbon, Portugal, to Muscat, Oman, to Tangier, Morocco, Tangier to Muscat. I mixed those two up. To Sydney, Australia, to Malibu, California.
That's a whole lot of traveling, and I'm a big fan of food. So out of the 6 places you visited, what was the best food you had and what was it?
You know what's funny is people keep asking me that, and truthfully, most of what I ate was airplane food because it was literally like I went to and the airplane food I love typically anyway, and the airplane food I had actually was really good. But I did have 4 days ahead of time in Rio. So I tried to lean into that and I tried to eat a lot of steak, like Brazilian steak is famous for being delicious, and it was.
Yep.
So that was good. Also, I flew Oman Air to Muscat, and I had like the best lamb curry ever.
Ooh.
And yeah, so I think that was from Tangier to Muscat. That was actually kind of like the best thing was to be exhausted from doing a race every single day in a new country. Get on the plane. Hopefully, most of the time I had a shower. Some of the time I didn't. Get on the plane. Like unfortunately for the people next to me. Get on the plane, exactly. Sit down, and just have amazing food, a glass of wine. I'm not one of those people who's like super picky about, I don't drink or anything like that. Like I have a glass of wine and then get good sleep before I arrived in the next country.
What airport was the best airport to get into and out of?
The best airport. Not Sydney. My flight was canceled.
Oh no.
Sydney, only having 7 hours there, which was really intense because I had to change my plans. I had planned on meeting with the Bondi Salties, this really cool like swim club in Sydney. And because I only had 7 hours, I had to just jump off really quickly or jump off the plane, go to the nearest beach. I met up with people still. Like fortunately, people came out and raced with me at this random beach that wasn't even the cool part of Australia, so that I'd say that was the worst one. The best one, a lot of people talk about Thailand's airport. So I had a layover in Thailand. That's where I got stuck before I was going to Sydney. And it's kind of known for being actually a destination in itself because it's
really
huge. It's a mall. Yeah. So I had like a day. I had, I think, 9 hours again there. So I went around. I got free because my flight had been canceled. So I had these like food vouchers. So I was getting free food, free Thai food, which was really good. I got a Thai massage in the airport, which was amazing. So I'd say that was probably my favorite airport.
You're in Oregon. And so here's the question. You can only eat Tillamook cheese or Tillamook ice cream for the rest of your life and can't have the other. Which one are you going with?
Oh my gosh. I'm so impressed you know Tillamook. Have you been to the creamery before in Tillamook?
I've not been to the creamery, but I love food. And so most of my conversations circle around food in some form or fashion.
Yeah, I've
And
listened to a couple of your podcasts. I picked up on that.
Fantastic.
But what you should do the next time you want to take a foodie vacation is you should go to the Tillamook Creamery in Tillamook, Oregon. It's on the beach. And they have free cheese samples. You can take a tour of the factory that makes the cheese. Like, it's really cool. That's not a fair question. Also, like
oh, it is. We have the hard-hitting journalism here. We're going to win a Pulitzer Prize based on whether or not you are going to pass on the cheese or the ice cream.
Those are my two vices. And Tillamook is so good. Like, the brown cow ice cream is so good. I get the Costco size, like shredded cheese, cheddar cheese. Like, I don't know if I could pick one or the other. I guess I'd say ice cream, but I don't think I could go the rest of my life without cheese. So,
yeah, I think it would be easier to discard. Well, true, but I think it would be easier to discard ice cream and keep the cheese in the rotation. So, speaking of cheese, I love it too. It's the one thing that probably keeps me from being full on vegan. And mostly because of pizza. So one of the questions we always ask is pineapple on pizza. Is that a yay or a nay from you?
I'm a yay to almost anything. I'm a yay to experience. I'm a yay to, like, I'll try anything twice. So yay. It's not my first pick when I order pizza. I usually like something with like onion and meat, or, you know, like a good cheese, like a lot of different kinds of cheeses. But yeah, yay to everything.
When you're getting ready to order pizza or go pick up pizza, where are you picking it from? Do you call it, I'm going to just go get pizza? Do you say I'm going to the pizza joint? I'm going to the pizza restaurant? What do you say?
I'm getting pizza. I didn't know that was a disputable topic. Yeah, I'm just getting pizza.
I'm learning that pizza joint, which is what I say, is East Coast. Born and raised in New York. And so when I say I'm going to get pizza, I'll say I'm going to go get a couple of slices from the pizza joint.
Okay, yeah.
That's just easy vernacular for me. Yeah, so I'm learning that it's a regional thing, clearly. Red velvet cake. Is red velvet cake a real flavor, or is it just chocolate cake dressed up to go to the prom?
It's chocolate cake dressed up to go to the prom, but I'm okay with that. Like, I like being fancy sometimes. I like, if it's something that makes me feel special, like, it's going to taste like chocolate cake, but it feels like a really special thing, and it's decorated in a way that looks nice, and it's, like, and it's special, then I'm all for it. I don't care if it just tastes like chocolate cake.
It's funny because some people think we rail on red velvet cake like it's a bad thing, and the answer is no. I'm happy to eat the red velvet cake. I just know that it's chocolate cake dressed up to go to the prom, and that's okay.
It's marketing.
It's chocolate. Yeah, it's chocolate. It's sugar. What could you go wrong with there?
Agree.
Movies that came out this past weekend: Gladiator 2 and Wicked. If you had to buy a ticket to one, which one are you buying the ticket to?
Easy, Wicked. I saw Wicked last night, actually. It was so good. And then I bought the book, as soon as I got home. And I had seen the play like 10 years ago. I went back and re-listened to the my Spotify playlist. Yeah, definitely Wicked.
So a year ago, it was Oppenheimer and Barbie. You would have bought a ticket to which one?
Barbie. I did buy a ticket to Barbie. I did not buy a ticket to Oppenheimer.
Have you seen Oppenheimer in the year since it was released?
No.
No. Will you see Gladiator 2 within the next 365 days?
Probably not.
What's your favorite movie of all time?
I used to say for the longest time Wayne's World. I still love that movie. Like, that's one of those movies, every time I watch it, it's so funny. Like, you've seen Wayne's World, right?
Yes.
Like, every time I'm riding my bike in a neighborhood and there's cars parked on the side or whatever, and you feel like you're going to hit them, I always feel like I'm Stacy, Stacy, the ex-girlfriend, who's like riding her bike through the neighborhoods and then she crashes. Like, I always think about that. It makes me laugh every time.
What are you streaming these days? Are you a TV watcher? I guess is really the first question.
I am not a big TV watcher. I'm a social TV person. So I have 3 best friends that I've known since college, and we watch The Bachelor on Zoom once a week. like our guilty pleasure.
No kidding.
Yeah. So we've been watching Golden Bachelorette, which is so good. We're actually behind. So the finale's already happened. We're still like 3 episodes behind, I think. But yeah, The Bachelor is like just, you know, it brings people together. It starts conversations. I will stand by that. The Bachelor's the best show.
Is that one of your, like, what you would call a guilty pleasure then? Like, I don't really watch TV, but I watch this show. It's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, and I hated that show for so long. I was like, it's so cheesy. It's so bad. Like, how do people watch this? I don't understand. And then I went through this period of time where I was like, well, I just want to have like a weekly thing. You know, like guys have like, not to put stereotypes on genders, but guys have like Monday Night Football, you know, and it's like a thing you watch with your friends. And I was like, I just want to have like a weekly girls' night where we watch The Bachelor. So I started hosting that like several years back. And by the end of it, I was like, you know, you guys be quiet. I'm trying to hear what's going on.
So how does the Zoom thing work? You all dial in. That's how old I am. You all click the link to get to the Zoom. You're watching the show. Are you chit-chatting over the show while it's happening? Are you dialed in to the show and not like? Go ahead.
We usually talk for like the first 3 hours. This is something that started in 2020. You know, remember the beginning of the pandemic when everyone was like doing Zoom hangs? So it started and it just hasn't ended. We've done it weekly since then. And it's kind of evolved into like folding laundry, doing dishes. Usually one person falls asleep at some point with the camera still in their face. Like, yeah. It's hard to even get through an episode because we end up just talking for so much of it. We're stopped at the commercials and chat.
So you have to go back and rewatch it.
We're just so far behind. Like the finales happened and we're 3 episodes. I know who won too, which is a bummer. I know who won and we're like 3 episodes behind.
So will you even bother watching it, or will you just get on the Zoom chat and hang out with your friends?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm invested. I do care about the show. I'm interested. It sucks you in. I mean, The Bachelor is like a petri dish for real life relationships. There's things that you see, you know, like obviously it's not real. I'm not saying it's real. Like it's kind of real, but not really. But there's truths that it brings up that are interesting where you're like, oh man, I've been in that dynamic with someone I dated, or I know someone who's had that kind of like situation in the background. And so that's what I think is interesting is it starts conversations about the things that are sort of like obviously dramatized. Obviously, we know it's like a fake little world, but it's really interesting. And it relates to your life.
Which of the 4 seasons do you love the most and why?
Fall. 100%. I love fall. I love being in it right now. I love just cooking fall hearty foods like a roast chicken. I love Thanksgiving. I'm just basic through and through. I love all the things like falling leaves.
That
weather.
Fall breeze that comes with the rain when you can crank the window open a little bit and just feel it coming into the house. There's no better feeling, none whatsoever. I'm with you on that. So I asked this question on our Fiery Embers show, and I'll preface it with this. So far, Jennifer Comfort has the best answer to this question. So let's see if you can beat it. You are going to blast off into outer space with Matt Damon and go to Mars. And as you know in the movie, he only eats potatoes. So knowing that you're only going to eat potatoes for the rest of your life on Mars with Matt Damon, what is your last meal before you get in the rocket ship?
Before that?
Yep. Before you get in the rocket ship. Yep.
Oh.
It's the night before you blast off into outer space.
I'm going to the opposite of starchy potatoes, carbs. So probably some kind of I probably would have the roast chicken, honestly. With I like to make it with I make it on sweet potatoes, onions, garlic, and then I put chicken broth, so it gets very soupy almost, and then I roast the chicken on top of all of that, and then stuff it with stuffing, homemade stuffing. So you get the full experience of chicken and veggies and all the things. So yeah, that's probably what I do. Carrots, celery.
That is an excellent answer. Jennifer Comfort's answer the first time I asked her that question, and yes, I said first time because I asked twice. The first time was wheat thins, and the second response was unfrosted animal crackers. And to this day,
interesting. I would think you would not want carbs, but
I would think you wouldn't want wheat thins, period. Whatever.
I love
there's
wheat
just
thins.
no world. So do I, but there is no world that's going to be the last meal I eat before I eat sweet potatoes for the rest of my life. Not happening.
Okay.
You're a cyclist. You ride around. I presume you stop at gas stations to refuel. When you stop at the gas station, what are you grabbing? Gatorade, water, Coke, candy bars?
I actually don't stop on my rides that much at gas stations, but I do road trip a lot. I stop at a lot of gas stations when I road trip, and it's always a Smart Water and a bag of gummy bears for some reason.
Nice. So I asked Adam Barker from Bulk Skin and Shave, because he's a cyclist and you're a cyclist and you sell cycling clothing. What is the right length of sock for a cyclist?
Oh, I have been grilled on this. And this is actually what I'm trying to fight. This is the fight I'm fighting in cycling, is like, let's not be so pretentious about the kind of socks we wear. If our sunglasses go over the strap or under, like, let's just kind of chill out, people. But my cousin actually was like, oh my gosh, you're wearing no-show socks, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe you're doing that. You have to do the I think it's 3/4. I don't know, whatever the cycling ones are. The higher socks, you have to do that. So I know that's the right answer. I don't always do that. Sometimes I just wear like regular Nike crew socks, if that's what I have. Like, it honestly does not matter. But if you want to look good, if you want to have it pull together nicely, that the correct answer is the typical cycling. I don't even know what length is that? 3/4?
Like mid-calf. Yeah,
mid-calf,
crew to mid-calf is usually.
Yeah, but they're just cycling socks. I sell them on my website, by the way, tortisportswear.com. So if you do want to have, if you don't want to be made fun of on your ride, but also like, don't make fun of people for wearing different socks, because it doesn't matter.
As a matter of fact, go to tortisportswear.com and buy all the different lengths and test it out and see where you get the most comments.
Yes.
We're going to sell product on this show.
Yeah, they're all cycling length. So you won't find crew socks in the cycling section of the sock store, because I know I've been just ripped apart for wearing socks on my bike.
It is amazing the amount of no rules we have in these sports, right? Like the cycling sock one is one of my favorites, because who cares? Like, you're out there riding your bike, have fun.
Totally.
Your favorite kit to wear is what color when you're out there riding around?
I really don't have a favorite, because it depends on the day. It depends on my mood. And that's kind of the ethos behind Tortis Sportswear too, is I think women especially care a lot about self-expression in general, and, when we dress ourselves. And I think sometimes that's missing in sport, because it's sort of like, you just have your kit, you wear the same kit every time, you wash it, you wear it again. And I really like having a different kit for every mood, and I have a lot of moods. So there's a houndstooth jersey that I love. I have a leopard print one by Candescent that I love. It really just depends on what I'm feeling that day.
Road bike or tri bike? Which do you prefer? Or gravel or mountain? Road bike?
I haven't tried gravel yet. Definitely not mountain. I moved to Bend at the beginning of the pandemic, Bend, Oregon. And I tried to get into mountain biking. It just was not for me. The technical aspects of it, just like, every time I was on my mountain bike, I was like, I wish I was on the road right now. I had a super fancy tri bike for a while, and that was fun because it was so fast, and it was actually like scary for me to ride, because I was like, I'm not that fast. This bike is like way out of my league, but it was fun to ride for sure. But I think the bike that fits me best and the bike that I fit best is just a road bike. The road bike I have now, my Canyon. Yeah.
I had a Cannondale Slice for a number of years when I was racing Ironman, and the speeds that you could get up to on a tri bike when you're down in aero with race wheels it does get to the point where you're white knuckling it. And you're like, oof, let's just hope the rubber side stays down sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you like pastries? Are you a pastry eater?
I do. Yes.
Chocolate croissant, plain croissant, or almond croissant? You can only eat one. Which one are you going with?
Forever, or just this one time?
This
Like
one
I can't have all
time.
three. This one time?
I mean, you could.
Chocolate. Chocolate. Yeah.
Have you found a place that has
I go
the
with
best?
chocolate.
Have you found a place that has the best chocolate croissant that is like memorable? Like you're like, oh man, the
Well,
one I had at this place.
yeah, I've been to Paris before, and anywhere in Italy, like anywhere in Europe, really. That's kind of like my like free pass to just have pastries every day for breakfast. That's usually what I do, is chocolate croissant or just any kind of croissant with my coffee. Lately, I found a really cute new coffee shop here in Portland called Le Bria. And I've been doing cinnamon rolls or blueberry muffins after my run.
Awesome.
So
both of those sound fantastic. You eat one there and take one to go for later, for sure. Those are the rules. I just made them up. Swimming is a big part of the triathlon sport, obviously. So in your 6 triathlons in 6 days, what was the best scene that you had when you were swimming? Like you were like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm swimming here.
I feel like they all were. Like it was so epic. It was so cool. I mean, being in Rio, like I said, I was there 4 days early, so I'd swam there a few times already, but it was just warm and beautiful and amazing. Lisbon was the opposite. It was like freezing cold and unreal. Tangier, we got out there like when it was still dark out. The sun didn't rise till like, I think like 7:30 or something. And so the sun was rising. We had to push the race back, and the sun was rising as we were walking out to the beach. And I had a couple people out there swimming with me. That was really cool. I can't pick. Muscat was cool. It was really warm. I had someone kayaking alongside me to look out for sharks because there's sharks nearby. Yeah, I can't pick. Malibu. I have spent a lot of time swimming in Malibu, and that was the choppiest day I'd ever experienced. It was like swimming in a washing machine, literally. Like I was just not going anywhere on the way out, and then the way back in, I just surfed back. So I mean, that was unusual. That was a fun one too, just because it was different from how it normally is.
I mean, doing 6 races in 6 days on 6 continents is hard. Obviously, a lot of travel, a lot of exhaustion. Have you thought about other events that aren't your status quo? In other words, not an Ironman, not a 100-mile run, but some of these like marathon type swims, like at the Golden Gate Bridge type swim, or maybe even like an Escape from Alcatraz, which is a triathlon, but you're swimming out there in shark infested waters, like you just mentioned. Like, have you thought about like what's next on the bucket list for you? Maybe not right away, but sometime in the future. What is it?
I have, yeah. So my race was actually supposed to be 7 triathlons on 7 continents in 7 days. It was supposed to start in Antarctica. And that was really all I was thinking about the year leading up to the race. I was cold plunging. I did a couple open water swims in December in Canada and outside of Bend, Oregon at like 32 degrees Fahrenheit, just above freezing. And so that was the thing I was really excited about. The group that I was going with ended up losing our permit to swim in Antarctica because of the bird flu, which is something I never hear people talk about, but I have learned so much about just through this experience, that there were concerns that the bird flu would get to Antarctica. And if that happened, it could potentially wipe out the penguins because they don't have immunity against viruses. So we lost our permit. There were 8 of us that were supposed to go swim in Antarctica, do this triathlon in Antarctica, and then like 50 marathoners who actually still got to go. So the marathoners did their race because the bird flu concerns were water related. It's a waterborne virus. So the issue was that we weren't allowed to swim in Antarctica. So to answer your question, that's a long way to get around it. But to answer your question, it's still like it's going to happen at some point. I'm going to do my triathlon in Antarctica. I've been messaging on WhatsApp lately with a race director, and he's saying, "Oh yeah, it's going to happen this year in January." So I'm like, okay, I'm just keeping base level fitness. I'm not getting my hopes up. Like last year I was all in, I was training. It was all I was thinking about. I was telling everyone like, yes, I'm doing the 777 thing. And then it didn't happen. And I was so bummed. Like it was so frustrating. So right now it's on my mind and I'm like reminding myself, stay fit, stay ready for if it does happen, that way you can go. And hopefully it does happen, but I'm also not putting all my eggs in one basket there.
I feel you. That would be an experience, I'm sure. And I'm sure it was pretty bumming for you when you couldn't participate in the race. So hopefully you get around to doing it in 2025. We have time for two more questions. One will be food related and then one will be a little bit more serious. So PB&J or grilled cheese, when it comes to comfort sandwiches, which one are you taking over the other?
I didn't have a PB&J until I was like out of college, I think. I think I was like 27 the first time I had a PB&J, and I was like, this is incredible. What is this? It's so good. That's my go-to for like a long hike or bike ride or something like that, because that's just easy to throw in a Ziploc, and pack it. But grilled cheese, when we talk about fall and just loving fall and loving cooking, like I love like a tomato soup, grilled cheese combo. That's quintessential fall to me. So I can't pick. It depends on the circumstance.
You're good at evading these questions. How do you make your grilled cheese? Do you have a particular way in how you make it?
Just on a pan with butter. Yeah. Tillamook cheese, obviously.
So here's my tip for you on grilled cheese. Put a little bit of mayonnaise on the outside because it adds tang and it will crisp it up just as much as the butter will. But then take that shredded Tillamook cheese from Costco and put it in the pan after it's gotten a little brown, and then put the bread on top of that. So then you have an outside crust of cheese on top of the cheese that's in the middle. It's fantastic. You can't go wrong. Trust me. Clearly, I spend a lot of time making grilled cheeses. So before we wrap up, Kelsey, and thank you for joining me, I want you to talk a little bit about Tortis Sportswear, the business that you founded and why you founded it, and what you're hoping to accomplish with your business.
Yeah, so I started Tortoise a year and a half ago. We officially launched, but the seeds for Tortoise were planted like 10 years ago when I did my Ironman, and realized it was the most transformative experience. That sounds dramatic, but it's not. It really was. It was so many things for me. It was confidence building. Like I did not ever think that I was the type of person who could do an Ironman. I couldn't even run a mile at one point without walking. So the fact that I did the Ironman like completely changed so much for me. And that, translated to other parts of my life, to work, to relationships. Like it's just such an incredible thing. And you meet so many cool people in the sport. It's a great community. There's so many amazing things about the sport of triathlon and Ironman. However, it was interesting because none of that was designed for women, for me specifically. And it's something you can feel when you're there, you're looking around, you're in just a mob of men, which is like, okay, it's fine. But also like, I would just love to see equal representation of men and women out there. So as many women are getting the benefits of it as men. So with Tortoise, I really just wanted to create a space of like truly is made for women first. I am a store that carries brands that are very thoughtful about the way that they design their apparel. It's truly made for the female body. That's a big thing in cycling, as we often feel like it's made for men and adapted for women later, the pink it and shrink it model. And so with Tortoise, I carry brands that are truly made for women first. We think a lot of the brands, like the running brands are thinking of, well, what is important to her in terms of safety? Like she's going to need to have her cell phone. The pockets in your shorts are going to have to be big enough to carry your cell phone, because women are always thinking about that. So Tortoise started just as a way to hopefully get to a point where we find equality in the endurance sport world.
That's awesome. And for those of you listening, it's tortisportswear.com. So that is 2 S's in the middle, Tortis Sportswear. So make sure you head over there. Ladies, get yourself some gear. Men, if you have a significant other in your life, make sure you get her some gear as well. Tortisportswear.com. Kelsey, thank you so much for coming on our Fiery Ember show. I had a blast. It's been phenomenal to get to know you. And I know we've got another show with you coming up here in the near future on our Caffeinated Coaching podcast, where we'll get a little bit more into mindset and coaching and everything else. So appreciate your time. Have a wonderful and safe holiday coming up, and we'll talk to you soon.
You too. Thank you.